A very good afternoon to all Innerville dignitaries, Innerville members, and guests. We begin the third session of National Medical Awareness Seminar. So far, we had two sessions, one on diabetes and the other on cardiology. Today, the third session is on challenges in mental health in the 21st century with emphasis on women and children. To address this issue, we have the popular psychiatrist, Dr. Harish Shetty. I request Association President Surjit to call the meeting to order.
I declare the third session in the series of National Medical Awareness Seminars for the year 2022-23 open.
Thank you, Surjit. Ladies and everyone, please stand up near your seat in honor of Innerville prayer. Rather than raising your hands, I request all of you to stand for 1 minute wherever you are for Innerville prayer and later for national anthem. It is okay not to be seen and stand for a minute to give respect in our way, the Indian way. Now, Innerville prayer will be recited by District Treasurer Lakshmi Singh.
Instill in us, O Lord, the true meaning of friendship. Never let us forget that we are all thy children. Notwithstanding the differences in our culture and creed, endow us with a desire to serve our fellow men, remembering that we too often need help. Whenever or wherever the need for service arises, help us to be ready to serve, endeavoring to make our badge of Innerville worthwhile, ensuring that we have not lived in vain. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you, friends. Take your seats. Be comfortable. Before we begin with our proceedings, an important announcement. As you are aware, we have interaction time with Dr. Harish Shetty after his address. Put up questions on chat for clarity on issues that he may discuss. In fact, any question on positive mental health. The National Medical Awareness Seminars are hosted by national body Association of Innerville Clubs in India. President of Association, Dr. Surjit herself is a gynecologist practicing in Kapurthala. Her being a renowned doctor with an easy and accurate approach has made it possible and easy for us to have this long distance organizing covering members all over India. The Association President, Dr. Surjit, will welcome all.
Yes, thank you, Pallavi. Am I audible well and clear?
Very well.
Yes. Thank you. District Chairman, District 314, the host district, Meeta Sheikh, Project Chairman, International Innerville President Past, Dr. Pallavi Shah, Guest Speaker of the Day, Dr. Harish Shetty. We are very fortunate to have him with us for this very relevant seminar on mental challenges in the 21st century in women and children. This is the third seminar in our series of National Medical Awareness Seminars, 2022-23, as Dr. Pallavi has already told you. We had planned for 3 this year when Dr. Pallavi came up with this idea to me. But seeing the positive response of the members and their active participation and the repeated requests for more, we are pleased to tell you that we will plan some more. I welcome you all to this session. Topic is indeed the need of the hour. Mental stress is the precipitating factor for more diseases than any other factor. I'm sure you all are well aware of this. So this webinar has become the participants' delight, and everyone really looks forward to this And I'm sure this topic is of interest to majority of the delegates here. A very warm welcome to all of you once again.
Thank you, Association President Surjit. The national seminars to create medical awareness are sponsored by District 314. District Chairman of District 314, Meeta Sheth, is a smart and brilliant chairman. She began with a lot of new ideas, planned very well, and has a team who carried it out to perfection. She worked hard to get money for all the projects which have been well accomplished so far. District Chairman Meeta will share in brief some of the activities of district this year. Meeta Sheth.
Thank you. My Innoville friends, good afternoon. Innoville District 314 is privileged and happy to host the series of National Medical Awareness Seminars, Vision of our National Leader. At District 314, keeping the theme of our esteemed International Innoville President, Work Wonders, we are serving the community, branding Innoville, as well as paying added attention to the members' growth and empowerment, as well as introducing them to wonders of technology. I would like to share a small presentation showcasing our new endeavors to work wonders. Presentation, please. The Mobile Directory application is an easy-to-use tool that provides easy access to the coordinates of the District Executive Committee, past District Chairman, Project Chairman, and coordinators and office bearers of the club of the district. This e-roster provides all info on the go. Secure, as the app can be downloaded only by members with their mobile number and thereafter OTP. Using this app, you can directly call, send message, WhatsApp, and email. Additionally, there is an event calendar with date, time, and venue with directions on how to reach with the Google Maps. We created a unique portal in association with SoftPro with tutorial videos in English, Hindi and English, and offer basic to professional level expertise free of charge, thus enabling members to empower themselves with digital literacy. Aligned with the mandate to be digitally literate and promote the Save Paper campaign, we are consciously using Google Drive for practical and administrative purposes. Therefore, all the guidelines, documents, project appeals are uploaded onto the drive to easily access as and when needed. This health fair and seminar was our endeavor to help members lead happy, healthy, fulfilling lives through concentration on physical form and internal fitness. 7 health and healthy lifestyle stalls along with prominent speakers Payal Kothari, a gut nutritionist, and Dr. Snigdha Mehta, physiotherapist on women's health, was organized. Members enjoyed an interactive session of basic daily exercises taught. District seminar was organized specially keeping the women entrepreneurs and home managers of Innoville in mind. This seminar had eminent faculties in legal, finance, and fashion. Additionally, we had workshops and demonstration on interesting topics. There were parallel exhibition stalls by our Innoville members who were given an opportunity to display their talents to the Innoville world.
Of really great and try and bless it. and subscribers and education. So we have a very interesting and you do right and carry forward.
Last but not least, the National Medical Awareness Seminars to provide knowledge on change of profile of various ailments after the pandemic. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Meeta. That was impressive. New members, young members, new ideas, using all the technologies to make Innerweal connect and get bonded and take it forward. Thank you. Friends, now from Innerweal formalities, we go on to the topic of the day. Before that, again a reminder to write your questions on the chat for Dr. Shetty. He will answer them after his address. As you have already been told, very useful information was conveyed in the previous two seminars in a very simple fashion. The members all over requested to continue this seminar, and this has encouraged us to take up subjects in unknown territory or subjects about which we do not talk so freely, at least in my generation. In my generation, say 50s to the turn of millennium, if you were seen in an office of even a psychologist, one would be trolled and declared mad. Today, it is known. It is okay to ask for help when you cannot cope. That an individual will have at least one episode in lifetime when she or he cannot cope with circumstances and will need help. Dr. Shetty and other psychiatrists of his times have worked hard to create awareness, to seek help for identifying mental problems earlier, preventing them, and dealing with them. They have removed the stigma and myths created by society and have given a positive message that mental health is just as important as physical health. Today, Dr. Shetty, with his experience and vision, will talk to us on the challenges he envisages in the 21st century. And to introduce him, we have Dr. Sonal Raje.
Thank you, Dr. Pallavi.
Pardon?
Thank you, Dr. Pallavi.
Yeah.
I'm truly privileged and honored to introduce our eminent speaker for today, Dr. Harish Shetty. Dr. Shetty is one of the most renowned psychiatrists of India. Along with MD in psychiatry, he has postgraduated in psychology and comparative mythology. He has been teaching, practicing, conducting research and training in mental health since 35 years. He's well known for his excellent oratory skills, which we have all experienced in the past. And he not only converses in 1, 2, or 3, but 9 languages. Well, mothers of school-going kids in the audience will be happy to know that it was his petition with the Maharashtra Human Rights Commission to abolish the segregation practiced in schools, that is, separating children by virtue of marks and dumping those who scored less in a separate division in schools. So it's because of him this segregation was abolished. He also filed a written petition in the Bombay High Court to have more learning disability testing centers in Maharashtra. Dr. Shetty has contributed extensively in the area of school mental health, actively conducts workshops with the youth on suicide prevention, and trains the common people to be mental health soldiers. His legal interventions have changed mental health policies. He has worked with the victims of disasters and communal riots across the country, providing them with psychosocial support. Dr. Shetty was invited for training by WHO in the year 1993-94, and he was one among 17 young mental health leaders. He also played a key role in various infamous cases as a co-investigator. He was a part of the committee appointed by the Bombay High Court to oversee rehab centers of mentally retarded children. He was a co-investigator, expert, and witness in the sexual assault of children at 2 government-funded rehab centers. He is the national president of My Home India, which is an NGO that aims at integrating rest of India to the Northeast. He's a distinguished faculty at Symbiosis Law School, Pune, and a visiting faculty at various universities across the country. Well, with all this, he also finds time to write. He's an avid blogger and a columnist for various publications. Dr. Shetty has not only helped people to gain mental peace, but he's also working towards building world peace. And how? He travels across the country to train peace activists working in communally sensitive areas through a module built by him to prevent riots. So here's presenting to you Dr. Harish Shetty, the enigmatic and charismatic master of the mind. Thank you.
Friends, if this is the introduction, we can only imagine what his address is going to be like. Dr. Harish Shetty, I'm sure, will take us through the century. Will future make us more vulnerable? Will it make us restful, restless, or more prepared to take on changes in the world? Digitalization, progress, growth, at what cost? How to circumvent it? I'm eager to hear you, Dr. Shetty. Dr. Shetty.
Thank you, everybody, and what a warm welcome. I'm really touched by all my mothers and sisters and everybody here for giving me such a warm welcome. Surjit ji, Sat Sri Akal.
Sat Sri Akal ji, Sat Sri Akal. So good to have you, Dr. Harish.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pallavi, you have chased me across.
She gets what she wants.
No, but she was so warm and affectionate.
That I agree. I agree with you.
And Sonal, you have really grounded my.
That was, I think that was probably just 10% of actually what you're doing, Doctor. So
I believe that biodata is bio and data, what I'm going to speak.
Yes.
So I'm so excited, so happy. Revolutionaries on the screen, outside the screen, Innerville clubs have been there for a long time, and I'm aware of the work you guys do. Before I start, let me pay my obeisance to 2 greatest scientists of the era, ancient scientists, scientist Patanjali Rishi and Gautam Buddha. They gave us yoga and vipassana. Yoga, you all know, American kids do more yoga, more American kids practice yoga than Indian kids. Well, mindfulness is famous all over the world. Vipassana was mindfulness. And believe me, Vipassana is free of cost in all the centers across the world. Mindfulness is not. And that is the obeisance I pay to 2 great scientists, greatest ever scientists on the earth. My dear friends, as I slowly move ahead, I would like to explain to you the major changes impacting us. Globalization. A CEO or a security guard works 12 hours a day. They travel 2-3 hours, come back home. I used to see my father and mother cutting each other's nails, but my children have never seen me cutting nails of my wife or she cutting my nails. Emotional contact time has gone down. Family contact time has gone down. We only know the news of the demise of a neighbor by a notice on the board. We sometimes say happy birthday on the Facebook to people who already passed away. That is the adverse effect of globalization. That is something we need to recognize, we need to accept as one of the biggest changes happening around us. The rapid pace. My God, I had this habit of saying hi to people reading the Economic Times behind SUVs and closed doors. I did an experiment of just saying, waving a hand from my car to all those suit-clad people who read Economic Times. Let me tell you, 10% of them respond with a smile. 70% have a mug face, like Amitabh Bachchan in Mohabbatein. Parampara, Pratishtha or Anushasan is Gurukul ka niyam and no face at all, stiff. What are we doing? Are we living in our visiting cards or are we living on the earth like human beings? Social change, you know what's happening around the country. There's violence. Men and women are packed in refrigerators, cut into pieces. Religion, God, caste is erupting in a very big way. And this is true. Aspirational India, along with that, we have an aspirational India. Well, long ago, when Jon Snow or Iron Botham would bowl, you would always believe that it is Robert Clive from the East India Company. And when Imran Khan would bowl, we would believe that it was the Mughals. But today we have a Sehwag looking into the eyes of the bowler and scoring 2 triple centuries. We have Virat Kohli who looks into the eye of the bowler and scores a magnificent run. So we have the Indian youth who can look into your eyes and say what they feel and what they believe. This is our aspiration in India. Violence and suicide, we have been rocked by a girl being cut into 35 pieces. And yesterday we were rocked by a man being cut into pieces by his wife and his stepson. And that is what is India. My dear friends, let me share not a very good news. First of all, well, the suicide rates in India between 2019 and 2020 has increased by 10%. NCRB figures 2022 it's there from the Ministry of Home, and between 2020 to 2021 7% increase, which means 17% of increase in suicides between 2 years, 2019 and 2021. A very big point. I appeal to all Rotary Club Inner Wheel clubs to have suicide prevention as one of the most important activities. Wellness and prevention. And that is a data which I would want to share. My dear friends, I'm going to talk about building emotional wealth and emotional equity. What is emotional wealth? Just like financial wealth, which can get depleted if you spend a lot of money in the mall, emotional energy gets depleted when you take care of too many people, when you're tired, when you're exhausted, when you don't sleep. We cannot overestimate our empathy. Empathy is the Gangotri. Compassion is the Ganga. We need to build this well of empathy continuously. We can't stop. We can't just say, I have enough empathy which will last across 100 years. No. Building emotional wealth is extremely important across time. There are little things we can always do. I remember when I was a small child, my father would say, 15 din ke baad hum picture jayenge. It was well planned, 15 days from now. Pallavi ma'am would recollect her own childhood because we probably are from the same era. And we would plan. But now there's no plan. There's no time. So we need to learn to steal time when we can. Steal time when we can. We need to increase our joys by chasing small joys. I have time, you have time, let's go and have a cup of coffee outside our home. We need to have small pieces of laughter. Even if it's for a few minutes. Stealing time builds emotional wealth. Sleeping on time builds emotional wealth. Eating healthy builds emotional health. Laughing aloud builds emotional wealth. That is emotional wealth. Emotional equity, yes, equity is not being equal. No. Equity is not being equitable. No. Equity means, मेरे घर में 3 बच्चे हैं, एक को थोड़ा प्रोटीन ज्यादा चाहिए, एक को कम दिया तभी चलेगा. हम अलग अलग प्रकार के खाना सभी को देते हैं. making them equitable. It's like if a child has learning disability, he will get extra time, not because he's weak, not because it's a charity, because LD is an artifact of a bad educational system. And so we are equitable. किसी को 2 चपाती, किसी को 3 भी चाहिए. And mothers manage it so beautiful inside out. छोटा है ना, उसका hemoglobin कम है ना, तो beetroot उसको हम ज़्यादा देंगे, and that is emotional equity, being equitable, and that is what our life goals have to be. My dear friends, I ask this question to men and women across the country. आपके यदि मोहल्ले में, आपके यदि घर में आपको एक चीख सुने, if you shout, you hear a shriek from a man or a woman, how will you respond? That's a question. Will we just say, अपना कोई बात नहीं है, उनकी जिंदगी की बात, it's their private affair, it's their home, it's their privacy, we'll never encroach into their privacy, it's not a job. Will we dial 100? What will we do? When I was small, all parents would say, सीधा जाके वापस सीधा आ जाइए, go straight to the school and come back. Don't get into any problems. It's none of your business. Take care of yourself. My father did not say that. My father said, if somebody is on the road, pick him up. If somebody is sick, tell your teacher. See that you constantly engage in communicating and assisting. What has happened to India? Globalization has killed the we and increased the I. आपलं घर, आपलं IB school, and आपलं graduation. बाकी काही आम्हाला माहित नाही. We do not know anything else. My dear friends, there are 3 words which we need to listen to. Communicate, connect, and connectedness. You know what is the meaning of communicate? Hi, happy birthday on the Facebook. You don't know the person, happy birthday. Once what happened was on my birthday, somebody put my picture. I don't know whether it was Facebook or Twitter. And everybody said happy birthday. Somewhere across the line, one person wrote RIP. My God. Then RIP is followed. I was so shocked. This is communicate. There's no feeling. Feeling nothing. No, there's no feeling at all. Connect means a little more. Little more. Hi, how are you? Talking a little 2-3 words more. You look nice, a good shirt, good dress. But that does not improve mental health. The challenge is how to promote connectedness in a world afflicted by globalization, which disconnects. What does globalization do? It disconnects. You can't meet your friends, you can't meet your relatives. The other day, a lover wanted to meet her loved one. She traveled from Churchgate to Bandra. The loved one said, I'll come from Bandra to Dadar. But they both could not meet because there's traffic at least 3 hours on both sides. So globalization also destroys love. It disconnects. The only way to fight globalization is to reconnect, which means what? Connectedness has been proved by research to help a large number of people across the world during COVID. I'll explain to you in a minute what is connectedness. Well, it is like this. When you're all connected to Inner Wheel Club, you are very close. You're connected to your family, you help your family. You're connected to the Inner Wheel Club, you help people, you're within. But in that zone of connectedness, we need to be connected with a larger society, with the Mota group, with the Vasudhaiva Kutumba, so that we are connected with the earth. Those who are extremely strongly connected centripetally to a family, to a small group, and do not think about the whole, the nation does not progress, the community does not progress, and the most important thing is your health also becomes self-centered and your thinking becomes restrictive. So connectedness would mean I am part of the Rotary Inner Wheel, but I'm also part of my family, my community, my mohalla, my state, and my country. When families become self-centered, the country suffers. When families become self-centered, the community suffers. I'll give an example again. A lot of people come to visit patients in hospitals and they say, kuch problem hai na, mujhe phone karo. Who phones? Indians generally don't call up and seek help so easily. Puchua, મને તમે ફોન કરજો એમ ન થાય. What is important at that point of time is to say, listen, I know you are in the hospital. Do you need any money? I know you're in the hospital. I'll spend 2 nights and help you to go and sleep at home so that you rest, re-energize, and come back and take care of your relatives. Your sons may be in school, your kids may be in school, I would actually probably send him food for the next 4 days. That is instrumental support. That is connectedness. And connectedness has proved to improve mental health. And so what is very important for the Rotary clubs across is be connected with the realities of life. And I'm sure you're doing great work. Do Boon Zindagi Ki was Rotary Club. Fantastic work. And so connectedness is more important than connect or communicate. When you talk to your family, I still remember, tell your children to wash their underwears, even if you have people to wash their underwears. Tell your children to do little jhadu pota once in a while. Tell your children to help their mothers, even the boys, in the kitchen, even if you have a cook to cook the meals. That is connectedness, that is grounding, that is rooting, and that keeps the person and the child grow to a normal human being. It's so difficult for kids. I'll tell you an example. When kids are in schools in the 7th standard, they want to help the world. They have cash in IB and IGCSE. Well, as they go to the 10th and 11th, they say, no, we want to earn money. As they join MBA, they talk about packages. There's nothing wrong in acquiring wealth. Acquiring wealth is a very interesting and a very important activity. It increases the wealth of the country. When an MBBS boy goes to college, he says, I'll fight for the poor. I'll treat the poor free of cost. As he finishes MBBS, he wants to need PG, Gynac, or Ortho because that will give him more revenue. A law student goes into the college and says, I will fight for tribal rights, child rights. But when he passes law, he says, I will do corporate law, better package. Something is happening in our educational system where we completely emasculate the child and remove him from the compassion which God has given, from the empathy which God has given so that he can do good for the world. I'm not saying everybody is like that, but this is something which is a direct impact of globalization. My dear friends, if you hear a shriek of a man or a woman, don't wait for the law, don't wait for the police, don't believe in privacy. Get 10 people and knock at the door and find out what is happening. We could save hundreds of Shraddhas and we could arrest hundreds of Aptabs. That is something, is the need of the hour. That's one of the biggest challenges in a globalized world where we dies and I becomes important. My dear friends, look at this slide. Suicide is the right of the man. More men commit suicide. In the blue, it's all men. But under 18, more girls are committing suicide than boys. There's something we need to do in the family. And the most important thing we need to do in the family is that see that children are healthy. Look at children who go beyond the syllabus. Look at children who absorb the Seva syllabus. In my experience in the last 30 years, I found children who are part of the joy of giving, not giving money, but doing something, not because the IB syllabus asked them or the IBCSE asked them, just because it's a habit in the family. Those who pray to God, those who actually help the parents, and those who do yoga or any form of meditation do much better than all of the children. They're grounded. All the schools where they have meditation is compulsory. The Sri Sri Ravi Shankar school, the ISKCON school, and many other schools. The children are much calmer in the 10th standard than others who live in concrete jungles. When I go to other states and I visit tribal schools, they're calmer than all other schools where children are interacting with concrete jungles. Why? Because the tribal kids interact with nature. They climb trees, they walk on the grass, they look at animals, they pat the birds. And that is something which is very important. My dear friends, let me talk about mothers. Inner Wheel is all about mothers. I was told that the Inner Wheel members would join would be between 40 to 70, but I'm sure many of you would have asked your children also to join, your daughters to join. But let me tell you, in spite of awareness, in spite of empowerment, in spite of everything, Indian women are still martyrs in a very big way. वो अच्छी बहू भी है, अच्छी माँ भी है, अच्छी पत्नी भी है, अच्छी बहन भी है, ऐसे लड़की मुझे मिली, मैं बहुत पुण्याई किया होगा, मैंने बहुत, मेरे कार्मिक अकाउंट बहुत बड़ा है। अरे छोड़ दो यार, in spite of they being PhD, in spite of they holding big jobs, they still get up to make the food for the entire family. They still get up to supervise the food for the entire family. They still get up to see that the entire family is fed well in spite of what they do. And they seek pride. मैं 5 घंटा सोता हूँ, फिर भी मैं सब काम कर सकता हूँ। अरे यार, बंद करेंगे सब। त्याग के घोड़े से उतर जाओ, जिंदगी की मोमबत्ती दोनों बाजू से मत जलाओ. It's a message you need to tell all the women. Are you a martyr or you will take sensible breaks? Are you a Meena Kumari of yesteryears in movies? Or that famous lady whose name I really do not remember, who acted as martyr in old Hindi movies? Or will you be a manager? I still remember, my dear friends, few days ago, I took a seminar for teachers. And they said only one thing: division of labor is very important for us to be healthy. What did they mean? They meant that I should not be doing all the work in the house. Somebody should share my work, and then I will feel healthy. And each one of them said division of labor. And one man came up and said, women should learn to say no. आज मुझे स्ट्राइक पे जाना है, आज मूड नहीं है, आज खाना नहीं बनाएंगे, आज मैं जल्दी सो जाऊंगी, आज मैं तुम्हारे साथ पार्टी में नहीं आऊंगी, तुम दारू पियो, मैं नहीं पीऊंगी, आज मैं दोपहर को 2-3 घंटा सो जाऊंगी, 2-3 दिन मैं कहीं निकल जाऊंगी अपने आप से, मुझे थोड़ा रेस्ट करने, ना कहने की जो आदत है, ये सिखाना जरूरी है. And the same no, as Amitabh Bachchan says in Pink, no means no. That was in a different context, but this is something which is very important. My dear friends, let me look at this carefully. And if you look at this carefully, you'll find that all women should understand that imperfect home is a healthy abode. Imperfect kitchen is a happy house. All those mothers who want to be perfect and who want to have the entire home in a display mode are very unhappy. Imperfect mother is a happy wife. An imperfect wife is a happy marriage. And that is something they need to write on their hearts and souls. There's no need to be perfect. And there's no need to really, really follow instructions that they be perfect. The society fools them. They make them believe that if they are perfect, they are the best. Society has fooled them for a long time. The middle piece of the pamphlet is given to the husband and the son. The head of the pamphlet is had by the mothers. They have been fooled for hundreds of years. Head of the pamphlet has no taste, nothing inside it, and it is sold as a delicacy in many parts of the country. Mundi khayenge. Gone are the days when mother should say that they should throw a piece of their food in the husband's plate. No, band kijiye yaar. Sahi khaiye, अच्छा खाइए, सही सो जाइए, क्रांति अपने आप हिंदुस्तान में आएगी. My dear friends, I have started this since after the COVID. I'll tell you what I done. I go to a school every week. And this month is December 5, 7, 12, 14, and 17. And 15th and 17th. I have started telling all parents, let the children touch the feet of the parents. ये कोई Indian नहीं है, ये कोई Hindu नहीं. It's not about Hindu, Christian, or Islam or Sikhism. It's about grounding. And they tell me, why should we really talk about all this? He's doing TOK, theory of knowledge. I think it's good if he's doing TOK, but touching the feet of the parents has got a different impact. I'll tell you what happens. When the child bends and touches both his hands to the feet of the mother or the father, he gets grounded. विनम्रता बढ़ती है, और जब माँ बाप झुक के उसे ऐसे उठाते हैं, विनम्रता बढ़ती है, ह्यूमिलिटी आती है, और उसके साथ साथ ग्राउंडिंग होता है, बॉन्डिंग बनती है. I tell all parents, teach your children Ram Raksha, teach your children Gayatri Mantra. If you're a Jain, teach them Naukar Mantra. And if you're part of any religion, teach them some rituals of a religion. Kalma padaiye. Christians are very good. They go to Bible classes all the time. Muslims are fantastic because they call Maulavis home to teach them the Quran. But Hindus, kuch nahi. We are spiritual. We believe in the rich philosophy. We don't believe in the rituals. Rituals ke bina philosophy mein dam nahi. It's important to pray because I have seen across COVID, all the children were praying were better off than all the children who were not praying. It's important that when the world is surrounded by armies which have nuclear weapons, armies which have weapons to destroy 100 times the earth, there we need peace, equanimity, and samanta, and we need to bring God back to our lives actively, not passively. And that is so important. My dear friends, there's some softwares which we can use, we can inculcate to prevent accidents like that of Shraddha and others, and suicides. To prevent violence and suicide, there's one software which we need to really inculcate, and that is sharing bad news early. I'll tell you how. When you ask the child, kya hua beta? School mein pass. I still remember this incident, famous incident in my own family. I was great in maths. If I was not allowed to do medicine, I would have been a scientist. Maths, physics was like by heart takel. And you know what? I also wanted my kids to do well in maths. I still remember the maths test with my second son appeared. And I asked him the first week, "Arey beta, tera marks aaya kya?" "Nahi daddy, nahi aaya." And in the next week, "Aaya kya?" "Nahi daddy, wo teacher bimar hai." Next week, "Nahi daddy, teacher hospital mein." And next week, teacher gaya, and I knew he was lying. I put my hand deep into his bag, and I found that he had got 8 out of 80. That's the time meri ye batti jali. And that was years ago, and I told both my sons, kuch bhi lafda hua na batane ka, breakup hua to batane ka, fail hua to batane ka, kuch bhi hua na batane ka. And I realized that didn't work. And that's the day I realized that if parents share their bad news early, publicly, as much as is appropriate in front of the children, age appropriate, children will learn to share bad news early. But if parents behave like gods, no child wants the father to be God and the mother to be a goddess. No, they want the mothers to be normal. And when the mother says that actually the office, I wrote an email to an aspirant who's supposed to join in my company, but I wrote the email to the wrong address, and I'm so stupid to do that. Doctors sometimes should come and say, "My God, I missed that space occupying lesion in my brain, in the brain of the patient." The fathers and mothers can say, "I don't know which share I actually invested. I was a fool. My God, what happened to me?" And one family came and told me, I started this trick, Dr. Shetty, but my son came and said, "Daddy, do you have any brains? We have never talked to our fathers like this." I said, when the kids stand in front of you, the chest open, that would not mean that they're indisciplined. They love you. Only the mannerism has changed and the paraphrasing has changed. That is something for us to understand. Helping children to share bad news early will save lives, will prevent violence, will improve health, and improve family bonding. And that is so important. I still remember this incident. I might take a few minutes more, but I still remember this incident when 2 brothers lost all the money from the share market. They did not tell their sons. The sons heard it and they became very depressed. They came to me with low grades. And when I asked the parent, they said, "Hamare paise chali gaye." मैंने कहा, "खुल के बताओ अपने बच्चों को." मैंने कहा, बताने का भी 3-4 स्टाइल है. एक एंग्शियस शेयरिंग, पता है हमारे 10 करोड़ गए. एंग्शियस शेयरिंग. न्यूट्रल शेयरिंग, हमारा 10 करोड़ गया. एंग्री शेयरिंग, अब तेरी फैमिली ट्रिप, अब तेरी फॉरेन ट्रिप बंद है, अभी नहीं हो सकता है सब. एम्पावर्ड शेयरिंग इज, हमारे पैसे गए, हम साथ में मिलके फिर से खड़े हो जाएंगे, and we'll come together and build a new future. And that is known as empowered sharing. And there, when they shared the bad news, after 2 months, the kids brought back a box of coins which they saved from their pocket money. And that's how sanskar and values are built. Sharing bad news early is one of the most important values which you can give to children. My dear feelings, all this you cannot do if you are not aware of your feelings. हाँ, मुझे तुझे देख के अच्छा लगता है. हाँ, तुम लेट आते हो, वहीं रहो तुम्हारे ऑफिस में, वहीं मरो. So मुझे कहती है मेरी बीबी, हॉस्पिटल में मरो. नो, उधर ही जाओ, आना ही मत, उधर ही सो जाओ. So anger, love, sadness, fear, envy, and joy. 6 feelings. Be aware. सबको होता है. गुस्सा सबको आती है. Anger management is a fruitless exercise. There's nothing like anger. Anger is a very normal emotion. Sonal does not get angry with her neighbor's husband. Never. Lena dena hi nahi hai. Lena dena nahi. Sonal gets angry with her own husband, her own mother, her own sister, because you love them. Anger is normal. Aggression and humiliation and insult is abnormal. I'm so angry that you came late. Normal. मुझे बड़ा खराब गुस्सा आया कि तुम पूरे दिन मैंने तुम्हें मैथ सिखाया, वहां जाके तुमने की गड़बड़. Normal. And accepting anger is now. So many people say, "Mamne gussa outpitch nati." Arre gadedo. There's nobody on this earth who does not get angry. Anger is normal. Accepting anger is normal, very important. And when you do not accept anger as normal, it takes a chemical reaction. And some people say, gussa outpitch nati. Mane kassu nati. We all do yoga. Arre yoga kiya to bhi gussa aata hai. Jesus Christ was angry. All the gods whom you worship were angry at some point of time. So when you do not manage your anger, it gets converted into resentment. Resentment is, I drink a cup of poison and expect you to die. Then you're not aware of your resentment, you become hostile, and hostility means deposition of calcium in your coronary vessels. Hostility and rage would mean platelet aggregation into the blood supply of your heart, thereby causing blockage of the coronary arteries. Hatred hurts the heart. So being aware of your anger, resolving it early is important. Rage, you know what is rage, you know what is revenge. Hate, you know what is hate. And it's a good idea to write down your hate list. And it's a good idea to understand that hate is one of the biggest diseases of the 21st century. Parents fight. I'm with Modi, I'm with Rahul Gandhi, and they fight to a point that they don't talk to each other. There is no debate. There is hate. There's somebody on TV who says, let's debate, but there's no debate. There's hate. Hate is one of the biggest illnesses in the 21st century. That's the biggest challenge. How do you reverse it? Continue having discussions. Even if you do not agree, respect what he says. You may not accept. You may acknowledge and respect. That's perfectly all right. Me and my son, we have a lot of arguments. He challenges me, I challenge him. We have a lot of arguments, but we still have sit down and have a cup of tea together. Intense hate anywhere interface. But if you really hate your president of your inner wheel club, will not be able to contribute in the club. If you hate your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, you will not be able to love your husband or your wife. And hate is one of the biggest diseases of 21st century. My dear friends, hate is also infectious. Not only infectious, but very addictive. And I learned from Sister B.K. Shivani is that we should not watch TV continuously, which spews hate. It destroys your mental health, it destroys your sleep. I also learned from her that if you consume news full of hate, it will affect your system. It will affect all your organs. So what is important? You may have a view, but you're aware of I do not like this policy of the government. It's awareness. And awareness leads to action, which means if I'm aware that this is not right for the government, I will write a letter, I will move a PIL, I will argue before the court, I'll argue before the minister. That's action. Awareness should lead to action. But revenge leads to hate, and that's abnormal. Hate leads to revenge, that's abnormal. So hate is turmoil inside, and you have an obsessive desire to hurt the person or the institution. That's what people do on Twitter, and that causes bad mental health. But if you are aware, ये स्कूल में segregation नहीं चलेगा, बच्चे स्कूल में इसीलिए जाते हैं कि वो खेले, बड़े हो और अपनी मित्रता कायम रखे, मार्क्स तो अलग अलग आते रहेगी. And then I said we should take action. I filed both a PIL in an inland letter to the High Court, and that became a suo motu writ petition and a letter to the Maharashtra State Human Rights Commission. So remember, in life, do not say mera kya jayega. Awareness and action is very important. My dear friends, how to resolve hate? Hate is chemical equation. Belief into unresolved anger. I'll give you an example. What's belief? I think that my brother-in-law is cheating in my business and he doesn't give my husband the right share. And I believe it. I do not have evidence. And then if he does something, if he says something really, really different, And that sentence becomes so exaggerated that you start hating and the hate increases. So how do you resolve it? Go back to the belief. Is it true? All Shettis drink alcohol. Says somebody has this belief. Is it true? Hari Shetty does not drink. There are many other Shettis who don't drink. So that belief is false. So unresolved anger, if Hari Shetty says something untoward, the anger towards him would be much less if the belief is managed. So unresolved anger, if anger is handled and the belief is dented, hate slowly goes. I still remember in a college, one girl said, my uncle stole all his business from my father. And the teacher, I was doing a session on hate, and the teacher said, Dr. Sheikh, now work on her. I said, no. When she was aware that she hated her uncle, it's like taking the ice from the fridge on the table in room temperature. It started melting. When you start being aware of your hate, slowly it starts melting, and that is something we need to do. Hate is one of the most important diseases of the 21st century. My dear friends, so common and so normal. This should not happen to anybody, by the way. But the point is, it could be financial jealousy, it could be academic jealousy, it could be tum president, tum ye, tum wo, agla sal my president, all that, a little jealousy, and that's normal. I still remember when my best friend got a job in a hospital, and I wrote his biodata, I wrote his application form. I did not get it. I was much more qualified. I had much more testimonials, but I did not get it. And I picked up the phone and said, "तूने क्या झोल किया यार? तूने क्या झोल किया मुझे बता. कल party आपके ऊपर." It's so important to acknowledge jealousy and acknowledge it to a point that it is important. Sometimes there'll be 3 apples and 4 people. 3 will get, 1 will not get. And point is, don't say I don't get jealous. Say that you get jealous, and say that you feel very jealous and you feel very troubled. Sadness, my dear friends, women are very good at this because they're very honest about their emotions. Men are not. So what have you to do to your husband? Sadness is a normal emotion. Some people come and tell me we do happiness workshops. So we're happy. I said, "Tum bhang khaye ho kya? Ganja lete ho kya? Kahan se happy hoge 24 ghanta?" I've never seen somebody happy 24/7, but people claim. Sadness is such a useful emotion, my dear friends. It's very useful. If you're able to accept sadness as normal, then you're able to love better. You're able to accept sadness as normal, you're able to experience joy much better. But there are men, your husbands, अपने को कुछ नहीं होता, मरा तो भी आंसू नहीं बहता है. मैं कहता हूँ सभी पतियों को, this video should go to all your husbands, that the best place to cry is the bosom of your wife. The best place to cry for men is the bosom of your wife. And if you cry, you live longer. You live healthier. Your love life will be much better. But husband say, मेरी बीबी मेरी weak point पकड़ेगी. मैं कहता हूँ पति, तेरे सब point तेरी पत्नी को पता है. इतने साल के बाद. It's so important to understand that tears are very important in life. God is not stupid to give 2 buckets under our eyes. And if you're single, the best place to cry is your loved one, your brother, sister, your mother. It's so important, my dear friends. Sadness is a normal emotion. Depression is a negative state. Anger is a normal emotion. Aggression is an abnormal state. And remember, this was told to me by my patient once. What a metaphorical sentence. It envelopes science, it envelopes sociology, it envelopes psychology. जो बह गया वो पानी है, जो रह गया वो जहर है. And if the tears are blocked, it gets converted into poison. It affects all the organs of the body. The mind-body orchestra gets destroyed. The sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system gets destroyed, and you get host of illnesses. My dear friends, sadness is also the flower pot where empathy is the growing plant. बहुत जरूरी होता है ये. और ऐसे मत कहना. And you may be sad without reason. I still remember me and my friend Dr. Anjali Chhabria on a station long ago, 25 years ago, and there was a woman crying. I told Anjali, just check what is happening. And Anjali said, "We're sorry, we are we psychiatrists have this tendency of being upset by people's tears." And Anjali said, "Kya you're crying?" He said, "Of course. Why? Simply. You might just simply cry without reason. Perfectly normal. Do you stop anybody from laughing? You say, I'm sorry when you laugh. Why should you say sorry when you cry? And those who get uncomfortable with the tears of others are those who have not cried for a very long time, or those who feel that they're macho Hercules on the earth. My dear friends, these are the 5 symptoms of the 21st century. You need to really look at these symptoms. And this is increasing because gati and garmi is increasing. And what is that? Irritability, chidkorpana. Irritability is anger in motion. Anger in motion. It is there when the people are very stressed. It's there in people whose physical state is not right. Diabetes, hypertension, lack of nutrients, low vitamin B12, thyroid, low hemoglobin, or depression, irritable, chidkorpana. Insomnia is one of the second artifacts of a changing world. नींद नहीं आती है, हजारों लोगों को नींद नहीं आती है, चुपचाप डर डर के गोली खाते हैं. क्यों गोली खाना? योग करो यार. 7 बजे के बाद किसी के साथ झगड़ा मत करो. After 7, don't fight with anybody. Put your phones away at 8:39. Use the bed only for sleep. And 5th is, do yoga nidra before you sleep. And then if you do not sleep, you can do other things. Impulsivity. Atta paije, mujhe abhi chahiye. Mujhe abhi chahiye. Mujhe Gujarat ka state abhi chahiye. Akelapan, loneliness is one of the biggest diseases of the 21st century. Loneliness leads to depression, depression leads to loneliness, stress leads to loneliness. मैं और मेरी तनाई अक्सर आपस में बातें करते हैं. Extremely common in a globalized world. Impotence, sexual problems are very high because of a changing world, because of the fact that men and women are working long hours. Orchestra is destroyed. The sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, the balance is distorted. There is a sympathetic overdrive. Hypothalamo pituitary adrenal axis goes on overdrive. There's a cortisol running in the brain. You rate the fridge at night. The hormones for appetite stimulating and appetite suppressing go for a toss. The appetite suppressing hormone is released much less and eat more. So these 5 I's are very important. We need to fight. My dear friends, as I slowly wind up, mind is not made of iron or steel. It's made of neurons. Nourish it always. पता है बहुत लोग कहते हैं, I still remember that movie Guru. बापू मरा, आंसू नहीं बहा, माँ मरी, and he said he takes pride in not crying. There are many men, your husbands, your fathers, who believe that they're karta of the family, and if they cry, everybody will crumble. अरे नहीं यार, गलत है. Have you ever seen a building standing on one pillar? Families also don't stand in one pillar. Building stands on big pillars, small pillars, medium pillars. In a family, an 8-year-old boy can console an 80-year-old man. A 40-year-old woman can console a 60-year-old woman. Each one has the ability to console each other. And if the karta of the family starts crying, the sons will say, Mera bapu normal hai, Bhagwan nahi. It's so important to democratize tears. It's so important to understand that mind is not made of iron or steel. You should not overestimate your resilience. You should not overestimate your empathy. Nourish it always. Sleep deprivation, Jai Shankar, traveling all over the globe. Very dangerous. It's happening to your children in your families. They don't sleep. Netflix में बेगम दिखते हैं और भी कुछ अच्छी बातें दिखते हैं. क्या लगा के रखा है यार? Yesterday's 70s will become today's 40s. There's science behind it. What happened at the age of 60 or 70 will happen at the age of 35 and 40. Boss, Rotary Club should do a sleep awareness campaign across the country. Sleep deprivation is worse than insomnia. It will destroy the children's entire orchestra of the body. People are dying at 40. Yes, today a woman said she got anxious and depressed because a friend's husband just dropped dead and he had a glass of wine. He was not an alcoholic. Why is this happening? Are you aware that in the city of Bombay, I repeat, are you aware that in the city of Bombay, in 2020, people dying of heart attacks, the first 6 months, the city of Bombay in the year 2021, people who died of heart attacks was 6 times than 2019, 2020. 6 times in the first 6 months. MCGM data, which we got from an RTI, which means because of the COVID stress, 6 times people have died of heart attacks in 2020. I think it's 2020 or 21, but one of the years in the first 6 months, lack of sleep, we can treat sleep deprivation. Children, your teenagers, you need to have a massive campaign like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan in sleep. I'm giving you a lot of ideas, my dear friends. And now let's go to what are the phrases we need to use in the families. सुरजीत जी नमस्ते. आपके पंजाब में तो बड़ा मिठास होता है, बड़ा मिठास. यूपी में तो भी बहुत, मैं अब भी गया, I was in Banaras for 4 days, washing all my sins. And the way people talk, my God, so sweet. So there are 3 ways of communicating, Pallavi Ben, in the families. When I'm angry at my son, I say, Malai, मुझे इतना गुस्सा आता है कि मैं तुझे कान के नीचे 2 बजाऊं. नॉर्मल मदर है, गुस्सा व्यक्त करती है. चुप बैठे हुए गुस्से में मैं खाना नहीं खाऊंगी, तुमने ऐसा गलती क्यों किया, वो माँ एक न एक दिन एक्सप्लोड होगी बच्चों के ऊपर फॉर स्मॉल रीजन. Sharing feelings is better than sharing an adjective. You're a useless guy. How were you born in my womb? Feeling phrases cause bonding. Feeling से feeling टकराए तो दिल डूबा जाए. आगे क्या है सुनर? Feeling से
आजा प्यार एक प्यास हमारे
काहे
घबराए.
Feelings meet, there is bonding. When adjectives meet, there is no bonding. There is rejection. And when सरकार स्कूल मत जा, तेरे बाप का स्कूल है, मत जा, बैठे रहे घर पे. You're a useless husband. You're a very useless wife. You come late every day. If somebody comes late, the best sentence to say is, I was so happy when you come on time. I really enjoyed my company with you. And reframing and using feeling phrases is one of the best things we can do. And that takes time. Maybe we are human beings, we'll explore once in a while, but focusing on feeling phrases improves bonding, improves family health. I'll tell you why. Are you aware, my dear friends, that 1/3 of the suicides in our country is because of family problems? 1 out of 3 family problems. Look at the figures, NCRB 2021. 1 out of 3 suicides in our country is because of family problems. So family health is a very important issue. And teach your children to wait for it. And I have this ice cream experiment. Everybody, just hear this carefully. Buy an ice cream on Friday, keep it on the fridge, and then say you'll have to eat it on Monday. And then the kids come around you, 9. मुझे अभी देना, मैं किसी को नहीं बताऊंगा, मम्मी अभी देना, and wait till Monday. That's an experiment which is very important. There's evidence. If you have read the book Emotional Intelligence, there's one experiment which they show where they get a bunch of kids and they say, if you want a marshmallow now, you get 1 now. If you wait for 1 hour, you get 2. So हमारे जैसे हरीश जैसा बच्चा बोला अभी ले लो यार, बाद में किसको पता मिलेगा या नहीं, खा गए. कुछ बच्चों ने रोका अपने आप को. They swallowed the saliva, they looked here, they distracted, and they took 2 after half an hour. When they followed up these kids, they found that children who waited for their turn had good family health, good marriage, good jobs, and overall good success in their life. So teaching the children to wait for their turn is a very important activity. Joy of giving I just shared. जो बच्चा बचपन से ही कुछ देना सीखता है, समय, ज्ञान, धन या श्रम, that kids remain very strong. My dear friends, once upon a time, we were beaten up by parents because they believed chhadi lage cham cham vidya hai kam kam, but that was belief. Now it's angst. A lot of women are being beaten by men. Educated, empowered, earning women are also beaten up by men. I tell all families, CEOs are not born in MBA schools. They're born in families and schools where charcha is a part of life, where sawad is a part of life. जहां बच्चों को चर्चा करने का अनुसार मिलता है, अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है, वो सीईओ बनते से learn to negotiate the world in schools and families. जो मार खाते हैं वो मैनेजर बनते हैं, जो संवाद करते हैं वो सीईओ बनते हैं. सो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, जब आप बच्चों को ऐसे मारते हो ना, प्रेशर अपने हार्ट पे आता है, अपनी उम्र कम होती है और बच्चे का आत्मविश्वास उठता है. और जब बच्चे को मारने की इच्छा हो ना, तो ऐसे ऐसे करेंगे ना, चोड़ेंगे. हम ही बोलते हैं मराठी चोड़ना. तो हरीश शेट्टी का नाम लो, शेट्टी बाबा आया था इस मीटिंग में, उसने गुस्सा है तो ऐसे करो, तो बच्चे का आत्मविश्वास भी टिकता है और तुम्हारा दिल भी. माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, आपके बच्चे लफड़े करेंगे. कुछ बच्चे They will say ये लाल नोट मैं मेरे पिताजी के जेब से उठाकर बच्चों को खिलाऊंगा. And it's not stealing, by the way. It is taking a share of your property very early in life. And sometimes you blow your mind. How did that happen? We have not stolen anything. How did my son steal this money? Arre yaar. When a child is wrong and in distress, hug them a little longer and a little strong. Not that you accept the behavior, because the children do not get new parents from Amazon or Flipkart. We'll have to correct them. Schools and families are correctional homes. And the 4 psychological needs of children are: first, emotional safety and security. ठोक ठाक के ठीक करेंगे, फेंकेंगे नहीं. टीसी नहीं देंगे, एलसी नहीं देंगे, घर से निकलो ऐसे भी नहीं बताएंगे. ठोक ठाक के ठीक करेंगे. That would not mean that accept your behavior. Next is respect. Third is trust. And the last is love. And by the way, trust has a new definition according to Hari Shetty. 20 years back, I would say, trust your child completely. मैंने change कर दिया sentence. हालात को देखकर, trust your child completely, but keep your eyes open. Extremely important. So 4 things your children need are: first, emotional safety and security. अपन टापनार नहीं, हम उन्हें फेंकेंगे नहीं, हम सुधरेंगे. कुछ भी करके ठोक टाक के अच्छे करेंगे. ठोक टाक नहीं, हाथ उठाना नहीं है, प्रिपेयर करना. Respect is second, trust is third, and fourth is love. My dear friends, हमारे हिंदुस्तान में ये बहुत बड़ी आदत है. Because we were ruled for 1500 years, we always say, डरा के उसको इंस्पायर करना. हर एक स्कूल में, ज्यादातर स्कूल में 9th और 10th के मार्क्स बहुत कम देते. 10th के प्रीलिम्स में सबको फेल करते हैं. So he'll be scared and he'll study. Stupid philosophy. Third rate medieval philosophy. It's a philosophy of a nation which has been enslaved for 1500 years. Americans ऐसा नहीं करते. Amazing, अच्छा marks बोलते हैं. Amazing, you're beautiful, you're wonderful. They praise abundantly. Indians never praise abundantly because they're very scared and insecure, because they have been ruled for 1500 years. They say, your marks are very good, but अगले एग्जाम पर ध्यान देना. And then I asked them, why do you do that? सर पे बैठेगा. अरे बच्चा, तुम्हारे सर पे नहीं बैठेगा तो किसके सर पे बैठेगा यार? You can't scare and inspire. That's a stupid philosophy. Many schools do that. Prelims, 3 prelims, 15 prelims लो, सब में फेल करो. डरेगा. अरे आत्मविश्वास क्यों उसका तोड़ते हैं? ऊपर वाले ने बच्चे को आत्मविश्वास दिया और तुम यहाँ उठे उसको तोड़ने को. ICSE schools में prelims में फेल करो. अरे ICSE exams are the most easiest exams of your life. Don't scare and inspire, my dear friends. Share and inspire. हाँ, मुझे पता है तुझे तकलीफ है, पर हम दोनों बैठ के सॉल्व करेंगे. बैठो ना, हम बातें करेंगे. हम बैठ के देखेंगे क्या सॉल्व करना. और हर एक बच्चे को 3 चीज बताना बहुत जरूरी है. For all parents, 1, life is beautiful. Exams are easy. Exams are easy is a word, is a phrase which has been researched. When you say exams are easy, they do well. And third is, you are awesome. Thank your children to be born out of your womb. They chose your family, not otherwise. तुम मेरे घर में पैदा हुए. नहीं यार, तुमने मेरा घर चुना पैदा होने के लिए. Thank your children to be born from you, and share and inspire is a much better philosophy. My dear friends, single parents are in huge numbers. Divorce में न तो शान है न तो शर्म. Women are asking for more. A lot of women have come into employment, into place of power. They will not take any shit from man anymore. And if somebody, after trying everything, would want to separate, it's perfectly all right. You need at least one healthy parent to raise a normal child. Agonized parent can't raise a normal child. You have to manage your agony if you separate man or woman to raise a normal child. It's a myth that you need both the parents to raise a normal child. There are hundreds of single men and single women who take care of the children. Let's support them. My dear friends, इतना कहने के बाद, रामायण सुनाने के बाद, मैं भी बताऊंगा राम और सीता का संबंध क्या है. हिंदुस्तान में ये लोग बहुत है. हम भावना शेयर नहीं करते हैं. We sit in our room and cry. हिरनंदानी बिल्डर्स ने आज तक किसी रूम में किचन, ड्राइंग रूम, बेडरूम, क्राइंग रूम नहीं दिया. रहेजा ने भी नहीं दिया. किसी बिल्डर ने ऐसा, I've seen the catalog of all the builders, crying room, bathroom नहीं दिया यार. खुल के रो यार, एक जिंदगी है, खुल के बांटो. बहुत कहानियां होंगी अपने अपने जहन में. क्वारंटाइन करो. When you let the feelings away out from a story, the story gets quarantined. Doesn't affect you much. हाँ यार, 2018 में मैं मेरे हस्बैंड के साथ उनके घर गया था. तब सबके सामने उसके माँ ने कहा, पल्लू सही करो, तुमने पल्लू सही नहीं पहना है. मुझे आज भी वो याद है. अरे यार, वो सास को कुछ नहीं हुआ, माँ को कुछ नहीं हुआ, तुम याद करके तुम्हारे भेजे की वाट लगा रहे हो. अभी वाट लगाना is a very respectable word. You can't translate this in English. Try. Indian idioms are much more effective than English language. And don't be ashamed to use Indian idioms at all. And my dear friends, and if you are really stuck with sharing feelings, start sharing easy feelings, which means I like the food that you have made. I like the shirt which you have worn. I like the way you took care of me when I was sick. I like the way you gave me a glass of water when you came home. And slow, you'll find you'll be able to share difficult feelings, because locked minds are time bombs. Diffuse it early, lest it explodes inside you. My dear friends, ये सभी करते हुए एक बात बताना मैं भूल गया. 1 out of 7 Indians are mentally ill. 20 crore Indians are mentally ill. 20 crore Indians. And if you count your family, 4 of you, an extended family, 1 out of them is mentally ill. Depression is more common than any other illness. More people die of suicide than tuberculosis. Fracture is visible, depression is invisible. And if somebody says Siam Dharavi and Switzerland is the same, there's something wrong. My husband and Tom Hanks is the same, there is something wrong. My wife and Nutan is the same, there is something wrong. And any amount of yoga philosophy does not have work when the mind is fractured. When the mind is sprained, you can go for a holiday, you can go for a movie, a dance, a drama, to yoga, feel better. But fractured mind needs psychiatric interference. Physical fracture is visible, depression is invisible. My dear friends, depression is very cunning. It can come in many disguises. Exhaustion, tiredness can be a sign of depression, and all the reports are normal. My dear friends, heart ka fracture, what you'll say, go and see an orthopedic surgeon immediately. If you have a chest pain, you'll say, go and see a cardiologist immediately. If you are pregnant, you'll say, rush to an obstetrician immediately. But when there's mental illness, Indians are very smart. They know 3 things very well. What should Modi do? Next, how should India play cricket? They have their advice. वो रोहित शर्मा को निकाल दो, विराट कोहली को निकाल दो. 1000 लोगों ने कहा, आ गए वापस. हमारा दिल्ली का पुत्र वापस आ गया. We all know how to turn the ball and ball off spin. कभी गेंद को हाथ में लिया होगा, but everybody has an opinion on cricket. कभी election बिल्कुल नहीं किया होगा. They have not fought in election. They know everything about politics. And third is they know everything about psychiatry. My dear friends, if somebody talks about mental agony, don't send him to an astrologer. Send him to a friendly neighborhood psychologist or psychiatrist. As I slowly stop, I would like to just summarize a few things. Globalization causes disconnection. We need to reconnect societies by festivals. Even if your family has taken all your wealth, हम बच्चों को नफरत के वारिस नहीं बनाने देंगे. We'll send them to the festivals where they will not hang around while having dinner, but where they will go when the rasam is on and the kids will play around, and we build strong communities. Number 2, yoga and vipassana has real power. Shambhavi Mahamudra and Sudarshan Kriya, any form of meditation should be made very fashionable. And your program of the Rotary Club should start with 5 minutes of pranayama. My dear friends, connectedness is more powerful than connect or communicate. My dear friends, I have not seen my video of my last birth, nor I have my address of my future birth. Heaven is on earth, and let us live as much peacefully as we can, as much with love and compassion as we can. We don't overestimate our Gangotri. We'll build a Gangotri every day. My dear friends, what is extremely important also is that connectedness is not only to our community, our club, but to the entire nation. Vasudhaiva Kutumbam means the world is ours. When India prospers, there will be peace on the earth, because we have been a peaceful community all the time. With this, I thank Rotary Inner Wheel Club number, I forget, but all those who have joined this session. I am grateful to Pallavi, Sonali Raje, Meeta Sheth, Surjit, our sister from Punjab. I have a great fondness for Punjab, and everybody here for allowing me to share my thoughts. Thank you, Yogini, for that smile of yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shetty. I'm at loss of words. All that you covered in about 50 minutes, it's absolutely mind-boggling. One thing I can tell you about Inner Wheel, that our connection and bonding is great because we are all like-minded people with service to society at heart. So, yes, we are a little better on that score. But one thing is certain, that, sitting alone for your talk doesn't help. I think the entire family must sit together to hear you. Then I think we will get the true benefit. Thank you so much. And the way the chat, on the chat, it kept on coming up that Dr. Harish Shetty, it is so inspiring. We have learned so much new, and it is an excellent talk. And thank you for that. While you made many things clear, many questions have also arisen in our minds. And before I throw the floor open to all, I would like to ask you a question. Though you have already answered it, but you have put a lot of thoughts in our mind, but we are still at a loss how to deal with all these in details. You have given a very brief introduction to what all one can do for those emotions. But we will have to have another session to talk about how to, in details, how to deal with these situations. My daughter Priyanka and I always have a discussion, because as you said, in our times, there used to be fear phobia, sort of, fear was instilled, punitive actions were taken. So there was the parental control was more of fear based. And now there is permissiveness. Now, how do you decide the boundary? You said no fear, I agree. But sometimes when it goes offhand, what is the boundary between permissiveness and fear to get the right
Mix, right balance.
Right balance, yes.
Yeah. Let me say one thing. Our parenting is not American parenting. We have few rules and many guidelines, but our few rules are very, very firm. We are not like, it's your life, do what you like. No, Indian parenting is few rules. For example, I'll tell you my son one day, when he was in the 11th, I was parking my car in front of my house, and he had a cigarette in his hand. He was doing cigarette like this. He saw me, he was shaken. And I, Meri to satak gayi. Singam na atta maji satak li. But I wear 3 hats. I am a Shetty, I'm Hari Shetty, I'm Dr. Hari Shetty. I calmed myself, I went up. He came next to me. Daddy, it's not my cigarette, it was my friend's cigarette. I did not say anything. No, Daddy, you trust me. No, I kept quiet. I said, we'll talk about it on Sunday at 3 o'clock. So he came to me. I said only one line. This is not done in my family. Khalas. No American parenting. well, your lungs can really get affected. No, this is not done. He chalnar nahi. Nahi manje nahi. So these few rules, you have to be very clear. And then maybe after 10, 15 days, you can talk about health and all. But no means no. We are vegetarians. If you're a vegetarian and don't like non-vegetarian food, ye nahi chalega. And you have to do it early in life. And if some children sometimes insult their grandparents and they talk rubbish because they learn from the environment, not the family. Bring them, and this is not done. And that is something you need to be very clear in an Indian family. So, example, say for example, I want to go to this house to stay at night. And if you feel that this house is unsafe for a sleepover, no means no. But a lot of guidelines you need to be very free with. So that would not mean that we are an authoritative parent. That would not mean that we are an irritable parent, but we have our boundaries that should be clear. Now, Indian parenting is not about only your parents. We are MBA students all our life. We read the Gita all our life. Lord Krishna would have finished the war in 5 minutes. He did not do it, no? He said, Bhim, you will attack Duryodhan. Arjun will fight with Karna. So we need to seek help from others. Many parents don't seek help from others. They say, I remember this woman saying, मेरे हस्बैंड की बहन है ना, वो तो टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया है, मैं नहीं बताऊंगी मेरा बेटा को आत्महत्या के विचार, मैं हेल्प नहीं लूंगी. अरे टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया हो या कुछ भी हो, रिमेंबर एवरी फैमिली हैज समथिंग दे आर struggling with. Every family has skeletons. So don't believe that you can take the family on your shoulders. Sometimes you need help. So talk to your sister-in-law, even if you don't have good relations. Seek help from your brothers, your family, your friends and neighbors to see that in difficult times you're not alone, but you're with somebody. I'll tell you an example. There was this boy who was rebellious inside the house, but he would listen to one auntie. And when he used to run away at night and come in the morning, and they could not do anything. Counselors also could not do anything. But I asked the family, तुम्हारा ऐसा कौन सा लोग है जहाँ वो पैर छूता है, जहाँ झुकता है? Each one of us कहीं ना कहीं झुकते हैं ना. And he said, वो आंटी है, but वो illiterate है, वो गांव में है, उसके साथ उसका बोध बनता है. We put her, and he calmed down. Also at times, sometimes, we want to give our kids what we did not get. But we don't give our kids what we have got. And that is discipline.
Absolutely.
So lastly, my dear friends, you might find that your kids are troubling you for the last 2-3 years. But remember, sometimes you can't do anything about it. But 3 things you need to do. Number 1 is see that you don't blame each other. The father should not blame the mother. तुम अक्खा दिन घर में रहते हो, तुम क्या करते हो, मैं इतना मेहनत करता हूँ. The mother should not blame the father. तुम तो बहुत लेट आते हो. अरे तुम लेट इसके लिए आते हो कि तुम्हारे पैसे से मैं इंग्लैंड घूमता हूँ, मैं मालदीव जाता हूँ. Don't blame each other. Take the responsibility of handling the child together. Number 1. Number 2, which is very important, seek the help of a professional continuously. Number 3, never ever give up on your child. I've seen children changing after 3 years, 4 years. I know of a boy who used to take weed and hash. And the mother was a professional, my friend. Nothing happened. Nothing worked for 2 years. But we did not humiliate him. We did not insult him. We kept in contact. We provided him help. And we continued our engagement. Continuing the engagement is very important. We did not say, Ghar se nikal ja, tere se bachcha paida nahi hua. And slowly he turned. And today he's one of the most brightest scientists in the United States of America. So never give up on your child. Never ever give up on your child. You never know what he'll become after 2-3 years. So that I think is very, very important.
Such an excellent answer, sir. I will discuss this also with my daughter. Children learn history, geography, science in school, but practically they have to face different challenges in life, like peer pressure, bullying. Now cyber bullies make things difficult for children. How and who should work to instill moral and ethical values to make them physically and emotionally safe? As from what you said, I gathered that family, school, and community can do it. To make them feel connected to family, school, and community, who should they turn to for guidance and support?
History is a very important subject for children across life. And what history they learn? They learn the wrong history. They learn the wrong history. Have they learned about the great warrior from Assam, whose 400th anniversary was celebrated a few years ago, who did not allow the Mughals to capture Assam. The Mughals were beaten 14 times. Have they heard about Patanjali Rishi and what he discovered? Can you believe this, Pallavi? I went to interview psychologists. I go to interview psychologists and psychiatrists across the country. In a state in India where the chief minister offered psychological support in all schools, I asked, who's Patanjali? 64 out of the 65 candidates did not know that. What is this educational system? Teach them history, which is glorious. Do they know where Arjan Dev's Samadhi is there? I visited that Samadhi in Lahore. Do they know that the Cholas ruled for so long? It's a glorious history which we need to first educate our children with. They don't, not educated inside the schools, we should do it. Macaulay's education has to be thrown to the dust. That's number one. Number two, discuss good things that happened in our families. Discuss stirred experiences. What is stirred experience? Experience that really makes us feel fulfilled. For the mother, it's always birth of the first child. They don't say it's marriage. Huh? I've never seen a mother saying marriage was the best event of my life. They said the birth of the first child. I still remember the cries. I still remember the smell. I still remember the name of the nurse, the obstetrician. Let children also share their stirred experiences, which means when I share this all the time, that when my mother took me to school with her hand, I still remember this. When you really speak about your stirred experiences in your family, not your glories, huh? Your stories. There's a difference between glories and stories. हमारे माँ बाप कुछ माँ बाप है ना, मैं छोटा था, हमारे घर में पैसे नहीं थी, मैं इतना मेहनत करके हुआ. अरे चुप बैठो यार, उनका क्या fault if they're born in 2008? Is it the fault of the child if he's born in 2008? Yeah, stop it. Share your stories. When I was small, I was poor, but my uncle helped me with my fees. My teacher, this teacher has taught me maths. This neighbor used to give me food when I had no food. Share your stories. That helps the children connect the soul with the soil and see to it that they eat at home as much as they can. They should eat outside. And how do you do that? Eating at home is all about association. And also it's all about your relationship with your kitchen. All of you here would say my mother's dish is much better than what I do as of now. Not because the mother knew how to cook so well. It's just because the mother put her hands and fed you. So see to it that the association, they buy vegetables. Even if you have people to buy vegetables, even if you give a call and you get everything from Reliance, see that they go and buy vegetables and argue with the vegetable vendor. See that they go to buy fish and argue with the fish vendor. Actually, negotiating fish is a very interesting activity. And if you associate with them, then what happens is they get grounded. At the same time, food, gadgets are a big issue. My son, we did all this, but he started eating outside and became obese after 18. One day, he suddenly started doing exercise. He's much better now. And I found out that his girlfriend told him that you have to exercise. So you can use all the societal mechanisms available to rear your child. So they say, no, that it takes a whole village to raise a child. And then it's still difficult about gadgets. Very difficult, man. I always tell parents, don't gift a gadget, give one. You score 95, I'll gift you a gadget. Give one. Also, my friend, Sonali Patankar from the NGO Responsible Netism, should invite her for a talk, and she has a whole lot of methods how to help the children with gadgets. Whole lot of methods. But I'll tell you, ma'am, I agree with you. Parenting is very difficult in the 21st century. Pool parenting will help. And what is pool parenting? In a building, you have eight parents with their kids in the same school, in the same class. One parent takes the responsibility of Hindi with others. One parent takes the responsibility of dropping them with others. One parent takes the responsibility of teaching Gita or Sushma Dushma cycle or Samak or Pratikaman, anything with others. And the entire family, one kid goes haywire, the other family members help them to really get going. So now community parenting or pool parenting would be much, much better than this flat number 503, tower number 8 family. So we need to gather resources to help all our children. If we help other children, your child will do much better.
So community parenting is smart parenting these days.
It's going to start. There's no choice. Pool parenting is necessary.
the difference between previous century and this century also is sense of responsibility. Responsibility to the elderly who live longer and are lonely. Going once or twice with material requirements is not enough. What is your guidance for solid and continuous support to the elderly, especially by the NGOs like ours?
Absolutely. And the life expectancy in 1947 was 32 years. Now the life expectancy is 69. So gone are the days when grandparents used to share stories with their children. I mean, they would be lucky children, grandkids. But I think grandparents are getting older, getting very lonely. Now I have started two things in schools. Again, I've told parents to tell their kids, and I also said have at least two kids. When I go to school, I tell them, Hath upado, how many children do you have? All those who have one child, put their hands up. And they put their hands up. I said, I'm going to come again next year. I need two. Mausam bahut acha hai. I tell all parents to accept that, tell the children that taking care of us is your responsibility right from young age. Unconditional love, theek hai. Unconditional love, theek hai. There are so many parents, my dear Pallavi ji, get hospitalized and nobody there. The son is in America, one is in Australia. They make calls in Australian accent, in American accent. They would provide anything from there. Doesn't help. And parents also, Indian parents are very generous. For your life, you go, don't think about us. Gone are those days. I tell children in schools in the 5th standard, 3rd standard, you take the responsibility of your parents. What you do, how you do is up to you. But see to it that you need to take care of themselves. As NGOs, Madam Pallavi, we need to beat loneliness and a lot of group activities for elderly people so that they don't commit suicide. When the elderly think of committing suicide, it's always a successful suicide. That is number one. Number two, a lot of volunteering. Volunteering is an antidepressant activity. Volunteering. If you can really get NGOs, elderly people to volunteer, the joy on their face and their cheeks is something out of the world. Identify grandparents who are single, because grandparents will not access you. You will have to access the grandparents. And these are some innovations. So ultimately breaking loneliness, a lot of activities, volunteering is very important, and helping them to connect with their doctor. It's not the money that they require, it's the connectivity and the connectedness that they require, which would be a great boon to the society if Rotary takes this initiative. Thank you for the question.
Sir, Dr. Shetty, there are so many questions on body shaming, on dealing with sudden loss of spouses, and drugs, and so many other, and digitalization and gadgets. But I don't think we have enough time. We need maybe 2 or 3 more lectures for that. There is a question on anger management, but he has already said that anger does not need to be managed.
Aggression management.
It is a normal response.
Aggression management is important.
Yes, and I'll add dementia to that. Thank you so much, Dr. Shetty. Like me, all the other participants are so thankful to you. Dr. Shetty, Innerville District 314 and Project National Medical Seminar Committee would like to thank you on behalf of the 55,000 members in Association of Innerville Clubs in India. Please let our 2 members in to felicitate you. Sonali Thakrar.
One sec. Sarita has asked a question. I would like to answer that.
Okay.
POXO came too late. What about people who faced CSA much before that? Sarita ji, and to all of the women, anybody who has faced CSA 40 years ago, we can repair them even today. A lot of women who have faced CSA 40 years ago, they eat more, they want to remain fat, they don't want to look attractive, they don't want girl kids to be born from their wombs. All this can be repaired even much, much, much later. But POXO came sometime in March 2012, if I'm not wrong. But emotional repair can be really carried out at any point of time in life. Sorry, I felt that question was important. Thank you.
No, there are so many. Yes, that's true. So we have Sonali Thakrar, from President of Innovate
One
Club of
second,
Mulund.
Pallavi. Sarita, it's too difficult, but please go to a friendly neighborhood psychologist who's trauma trained therapist, and then it will become easy. It takes time, but you need to invest your time with a good trauma therapist, and that will really help you. Thank you. I'm through.
So we have Sonali Thakrar and Yamini Bakshi. Yamini is a member of Innovate Club of North End, and Sonali is the president of Innovate Club of Mulund, and they will felicitate you on behalf of all of us.
Yeah. Ben.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. This is on behalf of District 314. And hello. Small gift.
Good there. Smile.
Thank you so much. It was and very, very informative. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonali and Yamini.
My pleasure.
So now it is time to invite Dr. Surjit for the closing remarks. Biswajit, please highlight Dr. Surjit
Yes,
for
sure.
her closing remarks.
She is muted.
Surjit ji, yes, now you are there. No, you are muted. You are muted, Surjit ji. You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Host is not allowing.
And now you are
So now it is okay. Now you are heard. No, again you muted yourself.
That's it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Harish Shetty, for this very brilliant deliberation. You put across some very relevant aspects of mental health in a very simple and interesting manner. I think that is why you doctors of your category make the patient, you so approachable you all are to your patients. You have to be like that maybe, but some are not. I've had an experience of a lot of psychiatrists, but you seem so approachable. I'm sure all will go back much updated. You're very right in your input of learning to say no. We all must learn to say no. We speak about it, but when our time comes, we say yes, yes. 9 languages, where did you get the time for this from your time-consuming profession? I'm really in awe of this. So heartening to see the enthusiasm of the participants. You all joined with so much expectations, and I feel we have not disappointed you. Thank you, Dr. Pallavi, for making each seminar more interesting than the previous one. Thank you, Meeta, for your wonderful presentation, so brief and so much put in. Proud of you. Thank you, one and all, for your presence and brilliant queries. You all have a big hand in the success of these webinars. At the end of the day, I would just like to say that our organization is the biggest stress buster for us. I feel that way, and I'm sure majority of you would agree with me. We have a lot of our stress. When we are with our friends, we absolutely forget everything, all our aches and pains. And the minute we go home, of course, they return. But this is a very big stress buster for us. Thank you so much once again, everybody, and Dr. Shetty. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Surjit. Hello.
Yeah. Yes, thank
you. In the friends in the cardiology session, we conducted a small quiz to review if our members are good listeners. I'm happy to announce that many participated and passed with flying colors. Actually, our project coordinators had tough time to choose the winners. On behalf of committee, Dr. Yogini will give out the results.
Can I
Dr.
leave?
Yogini.
Thank you, Dr. Pallavi.
Can I leave?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Shetty. Now we have some innovative things to take care of.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
We were so happy to receive many listeners who sent us correct answers. But we had to select only 3 winners, and I'm happy to announce their names. First was PDC Dr. Kanak Saxena, IWC Mulund, Mumbai, District 314. I congratulate Dr. Kanak Saxena. Second was Pinky Basin, Innerville Club of Delhi, Maine, District 301. She was also very close. And third was Jasmine Gill, District ISO, IW District 307. Everybody's answers were correct. This was just 0.1 and 0.2 difference here. So I congratulate all 3 winners. And we are very happy that you all wrote the answers. It was like fastest finger. Thank you so much, Dr. Pallavi.
Thank you, Yogini, for the lovely announcement. The prize winners, you will receive your prizes shortly. And now we have announcement of next seminar by Kinney Call.
Good evening, friends. Project National Medical Awareness Seminar was scheduled to hold only 3 seminars in this year. These 3 sessions have been applauded by many for the information shared and the awareness that was created. We have seen an example today. We are getting ready for a special new session now, which will be a hybrid session. The session will be held in Mumbai and it will be relayed all over. It will be a session with a difference. Please wait for further announcements. Thank you.
So now, Pallavi for the final vote of thanks and to be followed by national anthem.
Good evening, friends. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks for such a valuable, important webinar on mental health of women and children. Heartfelt thank you to our association president, Dr. Surjit Kaur, for this Gyan Yagya, the series of informative and helpful seminars. Thank you, Association Executive Committee members, for your gracious presence. Gratitude to our district chairman, Meeta Sheth, for hosting and organizing this Yagya and creating awareness. We are very grateful to our International Innerville past president, Dr. Pallavi Shah, for giving a structure to this seminar. Thank you, Dr. Harish Shetty, for sharing valuable information about mental health and giving his valuable time to us to guide us, and it will really help us handle the situations very effectively. Thank you, District Executive Committee members, for always your unstinted support. We appreciate project coordinators, Dr. Yogini Sheth and Dr. Sonal Raje, for their wholehearted efforts, and Kinney Call for all the digital promotions. Special gratitude and appreciation to each and every Innerville member from all the 26 districts and also our home district, District 314, for attending this Gyan Yagya. Thank you, Mr. Biswajit, for the video hosting and technical support. Friends, we have understood that mental health is as important as physical health. It is not a destination, but a process to achieve a peaceful and productive life. It needs the same quality of support. The idea of pool parenting and being communicative and connectivity is very important. These are the main points. Thank you and see you at the next Gyan Yagya. Details will be shared soon. Please stand up for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाए तव जयगाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय भारत माता जय हे जय हे जय 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 Thank you, friends. See you at the next session now.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We had
It was nice. We all enjoyed.